Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're working once again on some random ephemera from my to-do box. And like many of us, I put a load of these pieces of book page that I'd glued on one side, and I've just folded them in half and popped them in my box. And I had quite a lot and I haven't really worked on them. So I thought, well, it's getting so full. It's one of those jobs you have to keep going back to, and I don't really feel like I'm making any impression yet on the box, but I did start working on it on my own. I made this one and I backed it, and I was about to start putting on a bit of a focal point in the middle, trying to work out what I wanted to do. And I thought, well, I might as well just do this all on camera now that I've decided what I want to do next from the box. I thought, well, why not just do it on camera? I picked out some scraps. It's all working with scraps. This is one of the other things that I need to build on. You've seen my scrap box. It's pretty full. It's a big box, and I really need to get some of it onto some ephemera pieces. And journal cards is the one thing I'm really low on, because as you know, I tend to make the ephemera to go into any particular journal I'm working on, but sometimes it's just nice to put some aside and have them in your stash. And I've got quite a lot of everything else, but I've got very few journal cards, because I do one day just want to make a journal with just a random selection of things in that I like, just an eclectic journal. That's kind of something that's coming up in my mind to do in the future. But I really want to build up my selection of stuff to put in it. So journal cards is my next project in the way to work on with my scraps. Having said all that, I thought I might as well start off by just finishing this one off. And in my usual fashion, I'm going to round the corners of this. I will also be sewing around all of these afterwards, because I do like that look. But it's not necessary. They're all pretty well stuck down. I just like the little bit of stitching around the edge. Just seems to give them that finishing touch, doesn't it? And these are fairly sturdy, because once you've got a double piece of book page, and then more papers on the front and more papers on the back, they're pretty sturdy little journal cards. So that's quite nice. I like that. I don't like them to be too flimsy. Right. So let's just put these ones aside for the moment. We'll come back to those in a minute. And I had just started picking out some bits. I've got the pack of ephemera that, I think it's the freebie pack that Tina from Tabba Dabba Doodah, she does a freebie set pretty well every year. So this is the 2021 set, I think, that I hadn't really looked at or done anything with. So I've been cutting them all up and putting them all in a box and then doing nothing with them. So I thought, well, maybe now's a good time to start trying to use some of these. And I thought some of the colours went quite nicely with this background. This is using some of the scraps from the boho journal that I've not long finished. So I thought, and they were lying on the top of my box, and I love the colours together, and I just thought, right, let's make a card with some of these colours and some of these bits of scrap paper. And I quite like this tea time card, because I quite like the colour, and it goes really well with everything else. It brings out all the colours in the bits around it. So that's an option. I'm just seeing if anything else. Of course, I've got this as well, which I also really like. I love these type of things. So I don't think I can use them both, but one of them, maybe I'll use her on another card. So I just got to find some things to perhaps go with it. One of her umbrellas. I don't know if this is from one of her kits as well. I've actually recently purchased quite a lot of the Shabby Dabby Doodah kits, just because I love her kits, and I just felt like I just did a bit of a splurge and I bought about 6 kits. And I will get round to using them in due course, I'm sure. Oh yeah, the butterfly's nice with it. So really I just need a little bit of something behind it, and I'm thinking a bit of cheesecloth maybe behind there, and then that will be it. That's all we need to do. It's in the bottom drawer, so it's a bit hard for me to get to because I've got a bit of a bad back. I'm starting to think about how I would rearrange some of my pieces, some of my boxes and things when I move. I'm going to be starting from scratch with the craft room and thinking how differently I might store things to make them all much more accessible. This is the sort of thing I lay and think about at night, as you do. but it's still not immediately imminent. I think we've still got probably a month or two to wait before actually we move in. But there's no harm in planning in my head, is there? We've even had a trip to IKEA, and I've been going around looking at all the things I might buy to put in my craft room. And in other rooms. We're probably going to buy a few new things when we move. Just because it's nice to have some new things in a new house, isn't it? But yeah, there were definitely a few things that I was eyeing up for my craft room. All right, let's have a piece of this. I don't think it's the thickest one, or maybe it is the thicker one, but I quite like this. Quite like this piece. What other ones have I got? Yeah, I think this is probably the thickest of them. I bought a pack ages ago, and it came in 3 different thicknesses, or I don't know, densities. So the others are a bit more holy. They're not really thicker or thinner, but it's just they're more holy. So not the others. And one of them is very, very holy. So this is the least holy one. Let's put it that way, rather than saying it's thicker, because it's obviously not thick. Right, let's try and put that behind here. I hope I've cut it wide enough now. Now I'm looking at it, I'm not sure. I didn't really want it too wide, just as a little bit to poke out either side. Ooh, is that going to be big enough? Just about, I think. Barely shows, actually. I'm wondering whether I need a double layer. Might cut another piece. Let's go again. Let's start with the wide end. Probably too wide now. And trim that down a bit. See how that works. Okay. And I'll put that in the middle. Right there. Right. So now I just trim off each piece to where I need it to be. Trim that piece. And the back piece needs to be a little bit narrower too. That one there. Alright, that's those little pieces. May come in handy another time. So let's have a look. Yeah, I like the fact that it's not all even, it's nice, a bit jaggedy looking, that's okay. And then a nice little butterfly there. Maybe that one's a bit too big. I'm wondering, I've got some smaller ones. This has got the smaller ones in. I've tried to do them, box them up by size, so the really small ones are in this box, and then there's a box that's sort of middle-sized. Oh, these might be too small. Oh. These are really quite small, aren't they? There's not sort of an in-betweeny size. Is that too small? Maybe if I put 2 on there somewhere. Because I also like the idea of perhaps putting a little topper on. Now maybe I might put 2 on, but I think the smaller one is possibly a better option. Yep. Well, let's stick everything else down. And we'll see where we go. Add to my massive pile of boxes sitting in front of me. Right, I think I'm just going to try and do a little bit of Fabri-Tac And I'm just going to pop him. Oop. Now it's going beautifully just now. Why won't it come out? Yep, here we go. There. Let's see if we can find a little tab to go on the top. I have many tabs. Who knows if I've got one in the right colour. Maybe. This one. I quite like that with it, I think. Let's just put this to one side for a second. And it's a double-sider. So I could try the other side as well. I think I like that better. Yep, going to do it with that. Not with the Fabri-Tac though. I think I'll use the art glitter glue for this one. Nice and bright and cheerful. Okay, and then we'd have it. One little tag with this little topper, ready to go. I don't think I want to put anything else on there apart from a bit of stitching around the edge, and that's fine. So there we are, there's one. Now what I found myself doing when I was trying to pull out some scraps to make the, to work on the others, is pulling out scraps that went together colour-wise. Not quite sure. I tend to be drawn to things to go that not match, but that perhaps help go within a certain colour scheme. So I think let's pull out one of these. So I had a whole selection of things that were kind of botanical, sort of greens and various shades of green. Some were more botanical, some were just random things in the green, and I just thought I'll just put something together that would perhaps go into a botanical journal or into any journal really. So I've just got a variety of bits. Nice bit of Florentine paper. I love me Florentine papers. I like something like that. It's a really different sort of green, this. Kind of quite an acidy yellowy green. But why not? A little bit of that would be quite nice. And we want a bit of script. So I do actually have some script here. Might work. Don't really like this bit at the top though, too much. minute. I think I might like that on top. Like that. This piece of green. Will be maybe put that down there. And some sort of contrasty thing. I've got a piece of green packaging. Maybe that would, because it's quite a dark green, but it's quite a nice contrast. Would that work? Not sure. Maybe it's a bit too much. Maybe I'll put that one over the top. That's how I tend to do it. I tend to work out where they're all going to go and then glue them in place. And I work out who's going to go on top of what. I think this is a little bit wider than I'd like. I'm going to just get my other tear ruler out so I don't have I'd like a more jagged line on this one. I mean, this is picking stuff from all sorts of different kits. This is a piece of Artie May's, probably from her Beautiful Birds or something. This is from the medieval one, Medieval Worlds or something that I did for my travel journal. And this one here is from the Pink Monarch Prince. Oh, what is it called? It's the one I did the folio in, and I can't remember the name of the kit, I'm afraid. But it's lovely. It's quite a big kit. And lots of rich reds and beautiful roses and things in it, and music notes and things like that in it. It's lovely. It's a lovely kit. And I used it for my one of my folios I did the tutorial on. So that's roughly where I think they'll go. And just wondering if anything whether this would be quite nice in there somewhere. Whether this is too much colour. No, I'm just going to stick with that. There's no point. I'm just going to stick them on. Put them together, stick them on, move on. Keep going. That's what I want to try and do today. Not agonise too much over everything. So I think that one goes first. Right, I've got all those glued on. Quite a mishmash of colours, but I quite like it. It's a bit different. I'm wondering whether a bird would go on there. I did have this hanging around in my box for goodness knows how long, from years ago. I think got it in a scrapbooking kit or something. And I did wonder about whether something like that would look a bit different on there. I'm not sure. It's quite a contrast, and I'm not sure if it quite works on there. It's kind of tempting to do that, but I don't know. I'm not sure about it. Maybe it'll look better on a tag because it's long. Maybe that will be the way to go. I am going to back it, but not on camera because you don't need to see me do that really. I have all this pile of neutral little scraps of coffee dyed papers and other bits and pieces. So I use all these bits to back what I make today, but I'm not going to do that on camera because that's no fun to watch. Right, so what I want is to find something to go in the middle as a focal point, and to me the obvious thing would be a bird, I hope. I haven't used birds very much for a while, just because the sort of journals I've been making have not really asked for birds. Since I made my bird journal, I've hardly used them, and I do love them. So let's see if we can find a place for some of these nice birds. There's a little woodpecker. He's almost too blendy. I need something a bit more of a contrast. I'm not going to pick up that robin again because it just felt too Christmassy. It's got to be the right size and show up quite nicely. Maybe. I think the colours are almost too much. I might have to back it to get a bird to show up on here, I think. Still not quite what I'm looking for. Maybe one of these would be better because they've got their own background. They've already been inked around. Yeah, maybe that, because I've struggled with using some of these multiples. But actually on something like this it might work quite well. And this is another one, which actually I think I may like even more. And maybe I can use a bit of doily as well. I'll cut it down, but just trying it out. I think maybe that would work quite nicely, actually. Maybe it's a bit too much, but I may not need to cut it down as much as I thought. Where's my scissors? Oh, put them on the wrong spot. Left them on my little fussy cutting table. I've been doing some fussy cutting in case you hadn't guessed. So maybe if I put that there, put my little birdie image on there. Yeah, I do quite like that, I think. I'm trying to cover up this bit of pink where I must have got a bit carried away with some inking. Got a bit of pink on it. I don't really want that to show. At least not too obviously. Just where I want to put it is just where the pink shows. I'm just going to have to move it around a little bit more. As I've glued on my doily, and I've decided to get around the issue of this little bit of pink that was just showing through the wrong place with a piece of this was just laying on my desk, this bit of music. I just pop that there and it just covers that up, and I always think music and birds go quite well together anyway, and I just quite like that, and it just seems to finish that off. So I'm quite pleased with that solution. Well, there is this one. Actually, I quite like that darker colour. I think it's just a nice bit of contrast. I could have used my glue stick again, couldn't I? But I had this in my hand. I'm doing the doily. Right, so pop that down there. And then we'll put our little set of birds sitting in the tree on there. And I think we may have another one done. And then I've got the idea is I'm going for some different looks, some different styles that hopefully will fit into many different types of journal, because I don't yet know what I'm going to do for a new journal when I do eventually start one. Whether I'll start a new actual journal project before I move, I don't know. I've got a couple of months probably, so it does seem a bit daft to not plan any more things or start anything new. It could go on and on. It's quite hard to know. We'll see. I'll see how the fancy takes me. Right, So they're stuck on. I like that. I'm pleased with that. I just want to trim some of these bits off the edge, from around the edge. Oops. And I will add a photograph at the end when they've been sewn around. Now, again, corners, 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 and topper. I think it just differentiates them from being pockets. I think for a long while I was just fixated on making pockets, as many pockets as I could. And I now have many pockets in my little box, ready to be used, but very few of these. So let's do this instead today. And a little topper. What should we go for this time? Well, I have got that one I picked out before, which actually might be quite nice. Not sure. I see another one that I rather like the look of, which of course is at the bottom. What about this one? Some Stamperia paper. Yes, I like that. Made most of these just using a circle punch or 2 circle punches. A big one and a much smaller one, and that works really well. But I think there's a few that have come that I've made other ways, and a few that have been like punched out of a page, you know, they've come from a kit, a scrap pad kit, a scrap pad that had punch outs in it as part of it, and it has a load of toppers like this one. This was just punched out of a page, and there was a whole load of things to be punched out of this pad. Actually, that would have gone quite well too. Looking at that would have actually been really nice. Oh well, never mind. I'll probably do some more of these. So there we are, another one done. Let's put that in there too. And let's pull out another one of these. There's endless numbers of these. I could probably do this all day. And this time I've got a little collection of pinks. Pink is a colour I haven't used very much, but I do like pink. I just don't tend to use it an awful lot. So I have got quite a few kits that have had pink bits in, so I thought I'd just pick a few bits out and see what we can make. I think that was from a freebie kit that I picked up from somebody. I think this is from the same page. This is out of Daphne's diary. Stripe. Something a little bit plainer, maybe. Be better. Well, let's find some other little bits. Well, this isn't pink, but I thought I quite liked it. Bit of script would be quite nice. Put that there, maybe. What else have we got? So there's all many number of shades of pink. Now this is from that Pink Monarch Prints. I will look up the name of this kit because it's beautiful. Highly recommend it. Yeah, the kit is called Vibrant Melodies. And it is an absolutely gorgeous kit. And there's all sorts of colours in that. And that's a really lovely bit of pink with music on it. So I'm just going to bit of that. Also, we've got this lovely, that would really be quite a nice focal point, except I've lost half the foot, unless I just do it from there. Let's see if it's possible to incorporate this. Might be too big. And this is from Artie Mays' Shabby Chic kit, this particular piece, which again is one I used for when I made the folio, the on-camera folio I made. This is the kit that I used. And let's just try this. So I could put that there. It's a bit straight on this edge, isn't it? I might have to cover that up or something. I like this rounded bit here. I'm just not very keen on that straight bit there, so I might have to do something, but maybe that would work. And just need a little bit of something. Just a little piece of bits of paper from the, I think there's some things that you can get in the Daphne's Diary, little freebie things that are quite sweet and pretty. I've been keeping those because they're quite nice to work with. And I think maybe the best thing would be probably to put a bit of lace down this edge so that it just softens up that side. And I think that would be quite nice. Let's do it. Let's go with that. I wonder if I can tear this a little bit more. Always risky because I'll probably just tear the whole thing, tear the stem off completely, but I just wanted to narrow that up a little bit more. Carefully. Anybody's seen me tearing before? I'm not very good at it, but it doesn't stop me trying. Let's do that. Okay, let's put these on now. Right, so I've got this one to go in the middle here. I may well just ink around that just to define it a bit from the background. I wonder if there's any way I could just make this a little bit. I'm worried about, because there's only such a narrow piece there. No, I think I'm going to have to try and cover it with a bit of lace. I think that's the way I'm going to get around that. Okay, let's see what I've got. And I think I'm going to go with some white. one's taking my eye. Don't know if it's, well, yeah, actually that gives it quite a nice edge on the side too, doesn't it? Just there like that. Yep, I quite like that, so let's do it. Oop. Pin overboard. Yep, there it goes. I'll pick that up later. Get my magnet out, see if I can pick it up. That's what I do. Okay, so I need to pop this on first. Okay, and glitter glue for the lace. Oh, should I do that corner first? Maybe I'll do the corner before I add the lace. Do the others off. Oh no, and this one. Could argue, I guess, that it doesn't need the corners around it if you're going to cover it with lace, but I won't know until after I've stuck the lace down, and it'd be too late to add it then, won't it? I mean, to not add it, but do the corner. So I might as well just do it now, even if it doesn't show. Just have that little bit over a little bit. I like the little scallops just showing off the side. There we are. Trim them a little bit. And where the little foot has gone down a little lower than the card. Okay. Now, I'm feeling something radical coming into my brain. Well, it's not really radical. It's just a bit unusual for me. Oh, yeah. Some more of these Shabby Dabby Doodah freebie kits. If you've not got them, they're definitely worth downloading, and there's pages and pages of them. And it's all these, there's flowers, there's butterflies, there's all sorts, and in different colour schemes, and there's these really pretty roses. I was thinking, the radical idea I had was this very bright pink butterfly, which I can't even pick up, because it's a much brighter pink than I normally go for. But I'm not sure, I don't like that quite a bit. And I do like the flower there. The flower and the butterfly too much? I do. Ooh. Or she's also, this is from a different kit. This little flower with leaves. Now that's from her Mary Mary kit. It comes with loads of really lovely pieces of ephemera, including lots of these flowers, which I also really like. Oh dear, too many choices. Because I do quite like having some greenery around my flowers. Wondering whether there's a couple of flowers there and a little butterfly there. Why not? I think that might be the way to go. I think. I'm I'm just going with it today. I'm trying not to overthink, just going with what takes my fancy. It doesn't come naturally to me to just go for it. I usually overthink and overthink. Which why I don't always want to do some of these kind of things on camera because they take me so long. But I'm trying to be a little bit more decisive today. I don't know how much success I'm having in that, but I feel like I've done all this fussy cutting of these lovely things. I really must try and use them. Because they took a long time. All these, there's loads of these little flowers with the leaves around them, and they took ages to cut out. But I need to try and use them now. Otherwise it's a bit daft, isn't it? Spending all that time. I don't know how well that'll stick to the lace, but just risking it. If it starts to come away, I'll just pop some art glitter glue on it. Right. Something like that. Okay. I really like this. I'm really liking it. Who knew I'd like pink? Well, I do like pink. I mean, I wear pink. But I don't very often work with pink. I don't know why. I never did when I scrapbooked. Is that a word? Scrapbooked? Anyway, when I did scrapbooking, very rarely did a pink page. It's always more drawn to the blues and greens. That's always been the case. Yellow and pink, hardly ever. So I'm trying to break with my own natural instincts, I suppose, is what you might call it. Topper. See if I can find. Well, here's the pink topper. I don't know if it's a bit too modern looking though, because this has quite a nice vintagey look, and this looks really too modern, I think. I've got something in it. Ooh, what about this? This is one that came out of again from that same page, from a scrap pad, and it's just got happiness written on it. But is that the right way up? Looks odd that way up. Don't know if I like the shape. Let's have a look. It's too... No, I'm not keen on that shape for some reason. See if I can find something else. It has a nice pinky. Oh, that's pretty. How about that? Yes, that works. Okay, that works for me anyway. It's quite nice getting through some of these because I made loads, and again, one of those things, you know, you make them all and then you never use them. So let's get some of these things used. It's really quite satisfying, I have to say, to use some stuff that's just been sitting there. What side is which? Yeah, I think that's the side I want to use. I may not sew around this. I haven't quite decided. I'm never all that keen of, because I tend to sew with brown most of the time, and I'm not sure about the idea of a brown line going down my lace. I'll have to think about that one. Whether I do actually need to sew around it or not, whether it's just as nice as it is. I do like that. I like them all, actually. Really enjoying this. Okay, there's another one. Look, how much time have I got? Whoa. I'm getting quite close to my time. So let's see if I can do one last one, if I can find it. I did have another one pulled out, yes. Okay, one more. Let's see what we can do. Slightly different colour scheme, perhaps. So I've got this piece of paper. I don't know where I got it from. I've had it for years, but it's really pretty. So I might use a nice big piece of this down one side. Doesn't all have to have multiple pieces, I don't think. And I haven't got many things to hand that will go with this, but about something like that. I've got this little piece here, which has again got the same colours in it, also very floral. Let's see if we can. These are sort of slightly yellowy, slightly peachy colours. If I can use a piece of this. It's very floral, isn't it? Maybe I should go with that piece. Have that there. Maybe something a little more neutral down here. It's fairly neutral at the top, isn't it? Bit of script or something. Oh, what about this little piece of possibly a little bit too big. Little piece from a vintage quilting magazine. Would you believe that I picked up some time ago from a charity shop? It's got nice italic text, which I rather like. Something like that. And that. Maybe that will work. Let's give it a try, shall we? Let's give it a try. And I'll just take this piece off here. Oops. Oh well, I guess it doesn't matter too much because I'll have this covering it up anyway. Okay, so this is for another time. That will go there like that, and I'll just trim that off. Okay, that can go like that. And this can go in here, something like that. Well, we'll try it. We will try it. Okay, right, so we've got that. I've been eyeing up another one of these pieces from Shabba-Dabba-Doo-Dah. Can't remember which kit this came from. Could be actually the same kit, the free kit. That would look really nice there. But I do want to back it with some lace. So I'll bring him away with my lace again. I've also got this bit of foil. I wonder if that would work. Or tulle, whatever you call it. Tulle ribbon. Don't know. It's so thin. I don't think it will do quite the job that I'm looking for. I do want to find a use for that one day. I've got some quite wider laces here somewhere. Got a couple. Maybe I can put one of those behind it. I might just do that. there. Cut this edge off as well. Oops. It's quite flimsy. This is quite hard to hold. Some laces are a little bit stiffer and will stand out while you do this and let you do it without going all floppy. But this is a very soft lace, which I prefer really. Just makes it a bit more tricky to cut. Okay. That there, that there, and butterfly, too big again, but we have the little ones, same colour, and we have little flowers too. Might be nice. Let's try these. Little butterfly. Are there smaller ones of these? Is that the smallest size of flower? No, there are some little ones. Maybe too small. No, I'm not sure about that. I'm just thinking I would like some ribbon on here, I think. So I'll see if I can find any that will work. Okay, so I found a couple of ribbons that I thought might work on this page. I was thinking about maybe ruffling this up the side, but it's almost too blendy really, this colour. It's very pretty, but it's not quite right. When I nearly did that, and then I saw this and I thought, well actually that makes this is velvet, a velvet ribbon. And it's a lovely chocolate brown, and I'm thinking just along the side there, it really goes well with this frame. And I think I'd like to use that, so I want to just do a bit of a fishtail thing on this. I think we'll just glue a strip straight up the side there. And not right on the edge. Oh, I haven't done my corners, have I? Maybe I don't need to on this. Maybe I'll just do the two. Maybe that's the way to go on this one. Let's just take that off while I cut this. I don't use very ribbon. Again, it's another one of those things I hardly ever use. I do have loads of it. I have got rid of an awful lot. I gave a load away to a friend of mine because I wasn't using it very much. But I want to try and use it a bit more. I watch a lot of Tina's videos, as you may have guessed, and she uses a lot of ribbon, and I'm just thinking I'd like to use mine more. Has that gone? Yes, it has, just about. So, yeah, I have been quite influenced by some of her videos recently, just because I like her use of colour, her use of all these lovely laces and ribbons that she does so beautifully. And this is coming away under here. Thought I didn't feel it going all the way through. I just need to trim it and re-glue it, I think, around this corner. dry white for this because I've got a big lob of glue left behind. Okay. Now I'm just going to, as this is oozing, I'm just going to try and put a bit of the old Fabri-Tac on here for the lace. This lovely lady in the middle. I think that goes so well with the brown velvet. Might just add a little bit more there, a little bit more under here. And I think the last thing I want to put on will be my little butterfly. Soften that corner. Okay, might have to trim in the little tip of his wing off just because I wanted it right on that corner. And I think the final thing to put on here, oh, I've got a little bit of Fabri-Tac down but too low. I think I'm going to try and put a little label down here of some sort. Right, so I've picked out a couple of labels. One that just says memories. Ooh, would that go better there? I was just going to put it underneath, I think I will. And then this one, just some labels I made on some rice paper. Some pretty rice paper, so I did think I might do it there, although I am quite tempted to put it right up to the side over the ribbon, although it's quite thick ribbon, whether that would work. Could I put that under there? I was just going to come on and quickly stick these on, but I don't know if I like it like that. Maybe I'll just do it like that. Memories. Do I like that better? I think perhaps I do. That go under here at all. I think this extra label is probably going to be too much. Yep, I don't like that after all. I'm going to do it slightly overlapping my bit of ribbon. Plenty of Fabri-Tac on, it should be fine. Put that on like that, after all. Okay. I think that's pretty, and I think it will need a bit of stitching even if I just do these three sides. I haven't quite decided, but yeah, I really like that. So let's just have a quick look at what we've made today. I'm really pleased how they've all turned out. I may just keep on going and make a few more. Been having so much fun. So they're all very different. They've all got a slightly different colour scheme going on. And they're different sizes as well, because I didn't want too many big ones. Hope you can see all of those. Yeah, can't say I've even got a favourite, although if push come to shove, it'd probably be the pink one. But yeah, I'm loving them all. Really pleased how they've turned out. So thank you very much for joining me today, and do join me again soon. Bye for now.